भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन गदिता पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवती अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अन्वस्वामनुसन्दतानि भगवद्गीते भगवद्वेषिणीम्.
Verse 10.
Yeah, verse 10. We are like from now on, Arjuna is fairly reconciled to the teaching. He says, "I'm okay, I'm understand," and all that. So there will be maybe he will be asking about to Bhagavan to show the Vishwarupa, and then Bhagavan will explain that Vishwarupa Darshanam is not everything, understanding is everything, and then again he will say the 13th chapter like it is a sort of an extra clarification about what is Purusha, Prakriti, what are the various qualifications, and thereafter again he will go into this Sattva, Rajasika, Tamas. In every walk of life there can be a Sattva, there can be Rajas, and there can be Tamasika, that is the 14 and 16, 17. All these chapters will have only the very, what do you call, expansive discussion on how you travel from Tamo Guna to Raja Guna to Sattva Guna. In the sense, if you attain Sattva Guna, you have all the qualifications. So in all walk of life, there can be even your Bhakti, your Shraddha, everything can be Sattva Shraddha also can be there, Tamasika Shraddha also can be there, Rajasika, all these you have to avoid, the pitfalls you have to avoid. So we will keep on explaining that. So from now on it will be sort of a more like Arjuna is reconciled to Brahma Vidya is the way what Krishna is telling. He is almost buying that, the whole the process, how to go about. And he will explain, ask for some clarifications, and finally he will say, I will do whatever you got to, whatever you say, I understand now. So this is almost like a breakthrough verse, 10th chapter, 10th verse. From now on it will be positive. You can see that in the way in which Arjuna talks. Yeah.
Tesham Prasayuktanam Bhajatam Pritipurvagam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mamupayantite
Upayantite.
Upayantite Tesham Satatayuktanam, for those who are always committed to me, Priti Purvakam Bhajatam, seeking with love, Tam Buddhi Yogam, that vision, Dadami, I give, Yena, whereby, Te Mam Upayanti, they reach me. For them who are always committed to me, seeking me with love, I give that vision whereby they reach me.
Yeah, he says, in the previous verse he was saying, that whomsoever knows, he spends their time in Chintanam, Yat Katanam, Yat Prabodhanam. In the sense, they have got a clear vision, they will be spending their time, whatever they are doing, they will be spending their time in the reflecting on whatever they have understood and sharing it with others, so that they have further clarity. And that, so he says, if you are doing like that, if you are committed to this understanding, I give them the vision whereby they reach me. That's what he says here. Yeah.
Tesham Satatayuktanam Viptanam, for those who are always committed, those who are seeking in this manner are previously called Nityayuktas, always committed to me, not just in the morning and or evening. Ishvara is not just one of the irons in the fire for them. Their priorities are clear. They have assimilated their experiences and understand exactly what they are seeking. Seeking the truth of everything is not a pastime. It is their life. And they do not see any other pursuit that is worthwhile. They are mature. Such people have a love for the knowledge of Ishvara. What started as a curiosity becomes a desire, because you cannot accept ignorance once you know that there is something to know. That is why, as I told you, if you want to make somebody miss his sleep, tell him that you have a great secret to tell him, and that you will tell him tomorrow morning. Once one knows that there is something to know, One cannot but try to know it. It becomes a desire. Afterwards, this jigyasa, a desire to seek knowledge, becomes a love for knowledge. Once it becomes love for knowledge, then they revel, ramanti, they enjoy satisfaction, tushyanti. Then you will not ask, Swamiji, when will this seeking end? Nobody asks, when will this love end? In love, you are always happy, especially if that love is for knowledge. As long as there is a desire, it is fraught with pain because there are impediments in fulfilling a desire. Once it transforms into love for knowledge, then it is a matter of reveling. Impediments do not count. Bhagavan says, to those seeking with love, Aham Dadami, I give. What do you give? Buddhi Yoga, the vision of myself. When you are seeking Ishvara, he has to give. He has to reveal himself. Therefore, he says, I give them that Buddhi Yoga, the vision of truth. The vision of me, through which they reach me, they become one with me. The followers of Hare Krishna movement and other Dvaita schools of thought would translate these words as, I will give them the grace whereby they will come to me. Where? In Golo Kavanga.
Goloka Vrindavan. Very famous statement in Krishna consciousness. Goloka Vrindavan, yeah.
Goloka Vrindavan or any other heaven. Previously, Krishna was here, then he transferred himself to Goloka, where he had been waiting for these people to come. Because you are always singing the glories of Ishvara, you are a special invitee there. You go there and play with him. But when he plays with the others, you will have to wait. The same old problem that the gopis faced. Previously, when Krishna was playing with one gopi, another gopi would be very jealous. These are our general problems, original problems. This problem, which was here on earth, Bhuloka, will also be there in Goloka Vrindavan. I do not know which Shastra refers to Goloka Vrindavan. No Upanishad talks about it. Goloka can be translated as the light, Loka of words, Go, the meaning of the words of Shruti. When the Lord says, I give the clear vision, it is just an expression. You can say he gives and you take. But after all, Ishvara is the Atma. So where is the question of his giving anything unto whom? The Buddhi Yoga is gained, and in this the object is nothing but Atma, which is Parameshvara. The Lord himself is the object of that knowledge. Therefore, when he says Dadami, he means, I give them this Buddhi Yoga, whereby they recognize me, they come to me. There is also an element of grace involved in all of these, the Pratibandhakas, obstructions in gaining this clear vision are numerous. Therefore, Bhagavan says, those who seek me are assured of the grace they will need. Because those who seek me, Jignasus, are also Bhaktas. The very pursuit is Bhakti. Naturally, it is able to produce certain grace. Meditation upon Ishvara, besides being a part of the means of our knowledge, is also karma. Dhyana is mental activity and is therefore able to produce karmapala. That karmapala is called grace. Anything, adrishta, if it is favorable to you, is grace or punya. Grace is gained by this very pursuit, and because they are jignasus, they are considered bhaktas, devotees. So the act of devotion involved in their pursuit produces certain grace. They say that even if we just repeat the Gita without studying it, it becomes a prayer. Similarly, the Upanishads can be repeated daily as a prayer because the words all come from Bhagavan and describe Bhagavan. If they are repeated with Shraddha, it is a prayer and it has a result. So it can also be taken that gaining this vision requires the grace of Ishvara. If you have to ask why do you give these Buddhi Yoga to your duties, what stands as an obstacle to gaining this clear vision? For destroying which you are giving.
Which you are giving.
For destroying it,
You are giving the Buddhi Yoga for your devotees. Krishna answers in the next verse.
see, basically what in the sense, Swami is to say, you don't say that, okay, I will do all these things and I will gain grace and then I will go to Shastra. No. Even your studying of Shastra has got its own Punyapala, because you are studying the grace of Ishvara, automatically that itself gives a Punyapala. And if you are praying it for the getting that, I must get the jnanam, I must get the understanding, that is your prayer, that will be answered. So, the prayer or the study itself becomes bhakti for a person who is seeking the understanding of Ishvara, Jiva, Aikyam and all that. So, this itself is a karma, it removes the durita karma, it gives the antakarana shuddhi and the grace that is required. Even the study itself is a karma, it can be considered a prayer which will give you the grace. So, you don't have to separately gain grace and then come to study. Even so once you have come to this understanding and all your prayers are to get a antakarana shuddhi, chitta naischalyam, for gaining this understanding, for studying the Shastra, even that prayer itself will remove many of the duritas, many of the pratibandhakas and keep you in the study. That's what he is trying to say. That's what he is, the love, the Shraddha itself is a prayer, and the way in which you approach. And all your karma also, all your sankalpa will be, okay, let me get the antakarana shuddhi, let me have the chitta samadhi. Whatever I do, good karma I do, your prayer will be that let me have that so that I can able to study. So, automatically you will be drawn further and further into this. Because of that commitment, he says, I will give. For the person who is asking for this, I will give that. Dadami, he says that. So it's all inevitable, that's what he says. Why do you give this Buddhi Yoga? Because what stands as an obstacle is gaining this clear vision. Getting it, the obstacle is removed while studying itself. The obstacle is removed. So they get the grace and then I give them the Buddhi Yoga. That's what he's trying to say. Yeah.
Verse 11. Remaining in the Buddhi as the very truth, I only remove the ignorance. Tesham yevanukampartam aham ajnanajam mattamaha nashayam yatma bhavasto jnanadipena bhasvata. Tesham eva, for them alone, anukampartam, out of compassion, atma bhavastaha aham, I, obtaining in the thought of their mind, jnana deepena bhasvata, by the shining lamp of knowledge, ajnana
jam tamaha. Ajnana jam, what is produced by ajnana? Ajnana jam tamaha. Yeah.
Delusion born of ignorance, there is lack of discrimination. Nashayami, I destroy. For them alone, out of compassion, I, obtaining in the thought of their mind, destroy the delusion born of ignorance by the shining lamp of knowledge. Tesham eva, for those seekers who are seeking nothing but shreyas, that is freedom from being a jiva, moksha. How will they get this shreyas? Anukampartam, out of sheer compassion. Bhagavan will give them this shreyas. Compassion is grace here, which is evoked by your own karma or prayer. How will he give them this shreyas? Atma bhavastaha, being present in their own minds, he will give them this shreyas. Atma bhavastha is a very interesting word. The simple meaning is the one who resides in the thought in the mind. Atma here refers to the antakarana, the mind, and bhava refers to vritti, the thought modification. So, Atma bhavastha is one who obtains in the vritti, in the thought of everyone. By using this word, Bhagavan removes a possible misconception arising from his saying, Dadami, I give. When he says I give, you can go away with the idea that Ishvara is located somewhere from where he hears your petition and answers. This tendency to put a distance between yourself and Ishvara is a continuing problem. Whenever Bhagavan says Dadami, etc., this problem arises. To counteract it, he says here, Atma bhavastaha aham. I am the one who obtains in the vritti, the very thought of the seeker as Paramatma. I obtain in your mind as aham, 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 purely in the form of consciousness. As Ishvara, I shine in the form of my own Swarupa. Later in chapter 15, he will say, Sarvasya cha aham hridi sannivishtaha. I obtain in the hridi heart, in the buddhi of everyone. Here the same thing is conveyed by saying, aham atma bhavastaha. Obtaining as the very essence of every thought, what does Parameshwara do? Nashayami, I destroy. Because of the seriousness and devotion of their commitment, certain conducive condition is created in the minds of Jignasus. In that conducive condition called grace, aham nashayami, I destroy. What does he destroy? Tamaha, darkness. Shankara says it is moha, andhakara, delusion. Bhagavan says the delusion of darkness I destroy. This delusion is born of ignorance, ajnanaja, or you can call it aviveka, lack of discrimination. Due to lack of discrimination, there is a false notion of the self being the body, mind and so on. And again the reverse, the notion of the body, mind, sense complex being the self. These false notions about yourself, which in one word we call mithya pratyaya, I destroy. Who is this aham? Not someone somewhere, but the one obtaining as the very essence of the vritti, the truth of any thought. How does he destroy? Jnana deepena bhasvata, by the shining light of knowledge. The destruction of delusion does not require any weapon. All that is involved is a simple lighting of a lamp. When the whole problem is ignorance and delusion, what you require is a flame of knowledge that leaves no dark corner anywhere in your buddhi. That is why the adjective bhasvata is used for jnana deepena. It is not knowledge clouded with doubts and vagueness, but a shining, smokeless flame of knowledge that leaves nothing to be desired. It leaves no shadows of ignorance in your mind. By that lamp I destroy, says Bhagavan. You do not destroy, I do. This is another interesting thing. In a confluence, when the river reaches the ocean, you have no idea whether the river flows into the ocean or the ocean reaches out and enters the river. You will find that for a mile at least from the ocean, the river water is silent. You can sometimes even see the flow of the river reversed as in a tidal bore. A high, often dangerous wave caused by the surge of a flood tide upstream in a narrowing part of the lower course of a river where its current is met by the tides.
I told you, the Sagar at Calcutta, there this happens. Like before the river Ganga reaches the ocean, almost some miles before the water will be salty. Because as though the ocean is coming inside the river and welcoming the river. That's what he is trying to refer. Yeah.
You find you do not know whether the river is reaching the ocean or the ocean is reaching out to the river. That is what is said here. The knowledge reaches out to you as it were. Do we gain knowledge of Atma or is it given? You will find both kinds of expressions in the Shastra. One is that you recognize me or reach me, gaining this knowledge through your own pursuit. But in fact, you do not gain this knowledge. In every other knowledge, there is a subject, a jnana karta, a knower involved, and there is also an object of knowledge involved. For example, in the knowledge, I am gataha. This is a pot, gataha. This is a pot. The pot is an object that is objectified by you through your mind. Because you are the one who objectifies the pot, you say, this is a pot, I am gataha. In this, the subject is not cancelled. It is retained and the object is known by the subject. It is true in all forms of knowledge. But when it comes to Atmajnana, the Kartritva itself is destroyed. The notion that I am the knower is destroyed by the knowledge that I am pure consciousness, which is Brahman. Aham Suddham Kevalam Chaitanyam Brahma. The Ahamkara itself is resolved into a flame of knowledge. The reason there is no karta involved in this knowledge is that the pramana is not in the hands of the ahankara. However, when you use perception as a means of knowledge, the perception is in your hands. You are the karta. Using the means of knowledge known as perception, you see pot, tree and so on. Similarly, anumana, inference, implies a karta. Only presupposing the existence of the object, knower of the subject, only presupposing the existence of the subject, the knower does inference operate. The subject, the knower, does inference operate. In the statement, I infer, there is a subject. Arthapatti, presumption, another form of inference, also presupposes a knower. Then, the knowledge of the absence of something, like you are not having a pot in your hand, karatale kataha nasti, is arrived at through the pramana called anupalabdhi.
Karatale kataha nasti meaning in your hand the pot is not there. That is karatale kataha nasti. I don't have the pot in my hand. Even though it is a knowledge of absence, even that is arrived at through the pramana called anupalabdhi. Knowledge of absence is called anupalabdhi. That is a pramana, in the sense one way of knowing things. Just it is not there, even that is knowledge. But not that it is not there is called anupalabdhi. Anupalabdhi. Upalabdhi means there, anupalabdhi means the opposite, not there. So anupalabdhi is a pramana. Yeah.
By anupalabdhi, you gain the knowledge that a thing does not exist. It involves a karta. So does the knowledge gained through upamana. You may be told that a bison is like a water buffalo. You know what a water buffalo is, but not a bison. The upamana illustration of the water buffalo gives rise to indirect knowledge of a bison. When you see a bison, remembering the illustration of the water buffalo, you gain direct knowledge of the bison. All this implies a subject. So the subject is never cancelled. When you know about a cell, an atom or a particle, the subject is involved. Even if you know something about your psychological past, there too the subject is involved. You make inferences such as, I am responding to this in this way because of what happened to me before. That inferential connection is made by the karta, the subject. In fact, in all these, the subject is untouched. But when you expose yourself to the Shabda Pramana, particularly Vedanta, the karta does not operate. Once it has placed itself in a situation where such knowledge can take place, it does nothing further. Like a river that has come to a point from where it sights the ocean. After that, it does not do anything. The ocean takes care of it. It is the same here. You are going to a teacher and exposing yourself to the teaching is all done by your own will. It does not happen automatically. You have to place yourself in a condition from where knowledge can take place. Then Shabda, the words, take over. The sentence that gives the knowledge is Tat Tvamasi. In the process of understanding this, firstly, the meaning of the word Tvam, you, is analyzed properly, and then Tat, Ishvara, is also analyzed properly.
So that is what we have done in this till the 10th chapter. What we have done is that first 6 chapters we have analyzed you, Tvam Padartha. Then Ishvara, till now we have been doing that. So once these two are analyzed and then analyzed properly, then then the differentiation between subject and the object merges. So the subject, the karta is no more there. The buddhi is there, the jnanam is there, the truth is available. Truth is akhanda artha. Akhanda artha means there is no subject-object division. So it is not that you knowing something. Thus, you are merged into the total understanding of, you can call it Ishwaroham or Aham Brahmasmi. Either way it is one and the same. So the karta does not remain. The swarupa of the karta is understood by this knowledge of Tattvamasi, which we have been discussing till the 10th chapter. That is what he is saying as Akhanda Artha. Yeah.
In the Akhanda Artha, the meaning of identity that is involved in the sentence is recognized. What does that recognition do? First, let us understand how the recognition takes place. It has to occur in the buddhi because that is where the ignorance is destroyed by the buddhi vritti eliminating the notion that the self is merely the subject. The subject is the self, but the self is not the subject. The knower, known, knowledge are one and the same. Where is the subject? Where is the object? Atma is free from all three of them. It is Brahman. This recognition that the self is Brahman swallows the subject. So how can you say that you gain it? Through the Shastra, Ishvara alone gives this knowledge. You do nothing to gain it. Since the Ahankara is not involved, it is proper to say that Ishvara gives you this knowledge. Even though in the previous verse, the Lord said, I give this vision, Aham Buddhi Yogam Dadami. Here he says, in fact, I do not give anything. Remaining in the Buddhi, as the very truth of the Buddhi, I only remove the ignorance. Ajnanajam tamaha nashayami. Dadami is now replaced by nashayami. One is positive, the other negative. In the positive expression, there can be a division. Someone is giving, someone is receiving. Because division implies duality, there is the possibility of a wrong understanding that there is a giver and that Ishvara gives. It can look as though something positive is given, some kind of knowledge is superimposed upon or thrown into the buddhi. It is not like that. In fact, there is no giving involved. Bhagavan is only destroying ignorance. Knowledge is not something that happens. What really happens is that ignorance, ajnana, is removed. Then why do we have such expressions as gaining knowledge? Because everything is necessary to destroy ignorance. We say knowledge occurs, but knowledge does not occur. What happens is that the vritti is produced and it destroys ignorance. Knowledge is not created, ajnana is removed. That is why this
See, one thing Swami always used to say, you cannot say ignorance or ajnana begins. Why? Because if ajnana begins, that means before that you must have jnana. If jnana is there, why should you go for ajnana? So ajnana is something which can only know, which can only go, it never comes. And jnana is something which is always there, it doesn't come. The only problem is ajnana covers the jnana, and the ajnana, once you remove jnana, is already there. So jnana cannot be produced. So it is why this is called praptasya praptihi. Since what is already available, you didn't know, now you know, that's it. So nothing is produced, nothing is created, as far as this understanding is concerned. So that is why he says there is nothing like somebody giving, somebody gaining and all that. You only remove the ignorance. That's what he says. Yeah.
That is why this whole process is a process of nivritti and not pravritti. Pravritti implies a karta. In this nivritti, the karta itself is negated. The removal of ignorance of the self being Brahman is what is called knowledge here. Positively, nothing happens. If knowledge is something that can be positively given and it is given to someone who is ignorant, that person will remain ignorant. Knowledge would merely get superimposed upon him. The truth is that knowledge always is. You only remove the ignorance that conceals it. And knowledge is always true to this object. Atma is Brahman. If that Brahman is limitless, it is limitless all the time. And the knowledge of it is also as true as the object. If Ishvara is omniscient, then all knowledge exists already. No new knowledge is ever created. In your mind, it may not exist, but to correct that, all we have to do is to bring in the particular buddhi vritti that is able to destroy ignorance. To know that Atma is Brahman, you bring in the buddhi vritti that will destroy self-ignorance. There can be obstacles to that. So, to remove them, you require grace. From that perspective, Bhagavan can say, I give this vision, Aham Buddhi Yogam Dadami.
Shall you want to read?
Shall I read?
This ignorance and self-ignorance, what is the difference, Swamiji?
There is no difference. All ignorance is one and the same. But you gain what you ask. Since you don't choose to gain, because self is, you are always assume that you know. Because you are the person who is seeking the knowledge, no? So the very fact that you are seeking the knowledge of this language, this software, etc., you assume that you are already there. So I know I am the knower, I know, that's why I am asking for this and that knowledge. But the problem is, even though you know wrongly. Yourself, you know wrongly, but for you, it is never an object of knowledge. You don't even in your dreams also. You don't think that I don't know myself. You think that you know, and you go about seeking all the knowledge right from childhood. The whole society does it. So there is no, all ignorance is one and the same. If you choose to know my true nature, okay, I've been looking for this knowledge and all that. I've been gaining. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. It has not satisfied me. Somewhere along I always feel something is missing. Once, then you inquire and you find that you find a person who tells you that this basic sense of dissatisfaction because you don't know yourself. What you are asking for is a complete, already always satisfied, all knowing, all the time without any insecurity, I have to be there all the time. That sort of a person only you are asking for, which you have not inquired into till now. If you inquire into, you will find that that is how you are. You have not known, you have known yourself wrongly. You have known yourself as X, Y, Z, which is not your reality. Your reality is what you want is what you are. That he will explain. And once that explanation is there, then even during the course of that explanation, you understand you are not an isolated 5 feet 6 inches person. You are not the isolated mind where object knowledge of software and hardware and all happen. All those, your mind, your body, even the buddhi, senses, emotions are not you. You are aware of them, but your reality is devoid of all these things. You are what you are asking for, Purnam Sat, that is what the Sat Chit Ananda. I am all knowledge. I am always there. So it is not the body comes and goes, but I am always there. All those things. That is the knowledge. That is the understanding of the self. Once that understanding happens, you are not there anymore. You as a seeker or you are a knower, which you have hitherto assumed yourself to be, is not there. That fellow will still be there for doing Vyavahara, but your reality is one with Ishvara. That is why he says the subject doesn't exist. Subject of this knowledge doesn't exist, because every other knowledge, there is a knower who is identified with the body, mind, senses. That knower still will operate for your worldly purpose. But your reality which you want to know, once you go to understand that, you vanish. You don't exist anymore. Only Ishvara exists. So that is what he is trying to say. So that is the difference. But all you ask for a difference between other knowledge and this knowledge, naturally self-knowledge is, you self gets effaced. It's called self-effacing. That is what they say, no, that self-actualization and all that. Since you are dealing with the wrong self till now, but now you understand what is your reality and all that. So once that reality dawns on you, the asking fellow vanishes. Because the asking fellow is always used to something, object outside of him. Whereas here it is himself. And he has understood that. Once the understanding is there, the knower vanishes with reference to this understanding. That is the difference. Yeah.
I can say in Rudram also, before Triyambaka Mitamahe, we'll have no Rudrebhyo, Ye Prativyam, Ye Antariksha, Ye Dvi, Ye Shamandam Vato, Dashavastebhyo, Dasha Prachi, Dasha Dakshina. In that Jampe Dadami, it will come same way.
Yeah. That is there, and so many other places it is there. So many other places in the Rudram it is there, in Purushottam it is there, everywhere it is there. Because you have to understand contextually that meaning and absorb it.
Sure. Thank you. The dawn, uncle is reading or shall I read?
I will read.
Yeah.
The dawn of knowledge is like the lightning of an oil lamp. Shankara explains very beautifully this imagery of the lamp taking it as an oil lamp. A lighted oil lamp implies a few things: oil, wick, flame, and oxygen. And Shankara explains all the parts of the analogy. This analogy. What is the oil for this lamp? Shankara says that oil, sneha, is bhakti, devotion, and cheerfulness. Sneha can also mean affection or love. What is the difference between love and devotion? Where, where there is respect and reverence with love, there is devotion, bhakti. Love, when it is for Ishvara, involves a certain supplication, a surrender and looking up to. This appreciation and respect is implied in bhakti. Thus, love with respect and reverence is bhakti. Shankara says that the wick of the lamp must be abhisikta, soaked with oil, sneha, which is cheerfulness, and bhakti. I find that spiritual seekers become very serious. There is a sadness about them. I have seen some of these people who have dedicated their lives to certain organized religions for the pursuit of God. They are so frightened, all because they see all their thoughts as their virtuous or sinful. Thoughts are
As either virtuous or sinful. Yeah.
as either virtuous or sinful, right?
Yeah.
Thoughts are just thoughts, neither good nor bad. Only actions are right or wrong because they produce results. But then, if one deliberately
Meditates.
meditate upon or prays for the fall of someone, then it is an act, it mental act. One second. It is an act, a mental act. We take it as karma. Thus, there are no good or bad thoughts. There are only thoughts, and there are proper, and they are proper or improper actions. Here it is mentioned there. There are proper and improper actions, be they mental, verbal, or physical. Only if you understand this, can you be cheerful. And this is not an ordinary thing to understand. Thus, to light this lamp of knowledge, the wick has to be soaked in the oil of cheerfulness and devotion to the Lord. That is the wick. What is the wick for the lamp? For this lamp, the wick is the preparedness of the buddhi, purified by the study of Shastra, with a proper attitude and all other disciplines under the tutelage of a guru. This wick obtains in the lamp of Ananta Karma. Antakarna.
Antakarana. Antakarana means buddhi basically. Lamp of the Antakarana.
Antakarna. This lamp should be protected from strong winds. Shankara says the strong winds which may blow off this lamp are the binding likes and dislikes, but then the flame has to be sustained by air. That air, Shankara says, is the buddhi vritti, which recognizes the identity between the jiva and Ishvara, accompanied by constant contemplation.
Accomplished by constant contemplation.
Accomplished by constant contemplation. Yeah. Having listened to the words of Krishna on the glories of Ishvara, Arjuna now asks a question. The important thing is understood here. The important thing to understand here is that Gita is a dialogue. Its subject matter is primarily to be understood. Very few things are meant for belief. The main issues are to be understood, and some of them, like values, attitudes, etc., are meant to be understood and lived up to. So there is a certain will involved here. But when Bhagavan talks about realities, that is purely to be understood. Even beliefs require some understanding. Since there is a lot to be understood, there is a dialogue. And now Arjuna makes a request to the Lord. Arjuna Uvacha, verse 12, Arjuna Uvacha, Param Brahma Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shashvatam Divya Madi
Adideva.
Divya Madi Deva Deva Majam Vibham. August verse 13. Agasvamrushayah sarve devarshir naradastata asito devalo vyasah swayam chaiva pravishime. Arjuna is Arjuna. Uvacha said, Bhavan, oh revered one, you are Param Brahma, limitless Brahman, Param Dhama, the light of all lights, Paramam Pavitram, the most purifying, Sarva Rishayaha, all the sages, Devarshi Naradaha, Tatha, including Narada, who is the sage among gods, Asitaha, Devalaha, Vyasaha, Asita, Deva,
Devala.
Devala, and Vyasa. Tvam Ahuhu, talk of you as Purusham Shashvatam, eternal being, Divyam, not of this world, celestial. Adi Devam, the source of all gods. Ajam, unborn. Vibhum, all the pervasive. Swayam, all pervasive. Swayam cha eva, all and indeed yourself. Pravishi me, tell me. So, Arjuna said, of all revered one, O revered one, you are limitless Brahman, the light of all lights, the most purifying. All the sages, including Narada, the sage among gods, Asita, Devala. What is the Devala?
All are basically rishis only. The three rishis.
I have not heard of. Asita also I have not heard of.
Yeah.
And Vyasa, talk of you as eternal being, not of this world, the source of all the gods, unborn and all pervasive. And indeed, you yourself tell me so. Arjuna reveals his understanding of what he has been taught. Having listened to Krishna through these chapters, Arjuna has a certain understanding of the topic. He now speaks from his understanding. All the sages talk about you, O Krishna, as being Param Dharma, Param Dhama. Both are same. Param Dhama is used here. Explanation. Dhama is used here.
There is a footnote. I will read it. If you cannot read it, the word Dhama is derived from the root Da. Here it has the meaning of Rasmi. It also has the meaning of abode. So Parandama is the word used, generally we use abode of the Lord. That is the meaning with which it is used here. Dhamma. Yeah.
Having listened to Krishna, I start from here. Having listened to Krishna through these chapters, Arjuna has a certain understanding of the topic. He now speaks from his understanding. All the sages talk about you, O Krishna, as being Param Dhamma. Dhamma is used here in the sense of light. As light helps you to see things, so too this is the light of all lights, the light of consciousness. You are the source of all consciousness. You are the consciousness. With Dharma, in the sense of abode, you are the most Dhamma. Dhamma, in the sense of abode, you are the most exalted, enriching. You are the most exalted, enriching, which there is no further end possible. Which there is no further end possible or necessary.
Uncle, let me read. Shall I read now?
Yeah, no problem. I don't know, no problem in continuing further. You can read it.
Then he says, you are Bhavan, Pavitram, Paramam. There are a lot of things which purify the mind and bring solace to it. But how can you ever completely purify the antakarana that is subject to punya papa karmas? Nothing can get rid of these except the knowledge of Ishvara. Therefore, you are the pavana, the one who is most purifying. The knowledge of the Lord, when He reveals Himself, destroys the jiva, the individual, who feels isolated, frightened and bound. In the wake of knowledge of the Lord, the jivatva, the feeling of isolation is destroyed.
See, that is the most important thing. See, it is not the question of what generally the karma kandis, all other philosophies, all theologies tell is, you by doing punya karma, you will neutralize papa karma, and by that you can get yourself purified. Whereas Shastra basically tells it is by doing good karma, all your papa karmas are not going to go. Even if this birth karmas go, something is waiting. So it is something like if papa can be fully neutralized by punya, because every punya karma involves some papa. Some papa will always there be addition. Some punya will come increase. Some papa also will increase. So that way you can never by doing karma and karma pala, by being the individual, as long as you look at yourself as an individual, as a jiva, you will always think that by doing karma and proper karma, acquiring punya, you will get rid of papa. That is not going to be, that is an impossible thing. So, whereas with this knowledge, the jiva who is indulging in punya papa karma, he himself vanishes. That is the idea, that is the tatparyam of this understanding. The jiva as an individual, alienated from Ishvara, vanishes. Only Ishvara alone remains. That way, along with that, whatever punya papa karmas that are belonging to the individual, that also vanishes. Aale illena, punya papa karma is going to be there. So that is the tatparyam of this understanding. That is the most, the tatparya of the whole Shastra understanding is that by removing the subject as an individual separate from Lord is gone. That separation is over. That is the knowledge which we are talking about. So there is no gaining of, because that is a reality. That is not something that was unreal and it was superimposed upon you. Both Jiva and Ishvara are one and the same Atma, but you thought, you called yourself Jiva isolated from Ishvara, so everything, all Papa Punya was along with that. But once the Jiva himself vanishes into Ishvara, all Punya Papa also goes along with that. That is what is the crux of the whole understanding. Yeah. In the wake of the knowledge of the Lord, the jivatva, the feeling of isolation is destroyed. And now your voice is gone.
Because the knowledge of the Lord.
In the wake of the knowledge of the Lord, the jivatva, the feeling of isolation is destroyed. It is because the knowledge of the Lord is knowing that I am non-separate from the Lord. Here the knowledge is that the subject, the knower, the knowledge and the object of knowledge are one and the same. If it is knowledge of myself, then the object of knowledge is myself. The knowledge is as true as myself and the subject is myself. So the one who knows is also myself. Here the subject, object and the knowledge are all one. Therefore by that knowledge Ishvara completely purifies a jiva. The samsari, who is a limited individual subject to birth and death, is totally released. There is nothing more purifying pavana.
So, what he says is, the aparoksha samsari becomes an aparoksha asamsari. The aparoksha meaning, the self I know. Till now I thought I am samsari. Once you understand you are not a samsari, the self remains. Only the samsaritvam goes. So, once you are not a samsari, then your Sarupa and Ishvara Sarupa are one and the same. That is what he is trying to say. So, it is vanished. So, individual subject to birth and death is totally released. There is nothing more purifying, pavana. Yeah.
Then Arjuna goes on to say that all rishis talk of you as Purusham Nityam Shashvatam. The word Purusha has two meanings. The one who is enclosed by the body-mind sense complex is called Purusha, and Purusha is also that which fills up everything. So when you repeat this word Purushaha, Purusha is Purusha, it becomes a Mahavakya.
Purusha. Basically, Purusha is Pura Usati iti Purusha, one who is in the body. Okay. Purusha is Purnam. So, Purusha is that who fills up, Purnam, who makes the person who is there in the Purau means in the city, complete. So, Purau Usati is made into Purnam, complete. So, Purusha is a Mahavakya, that's what he said. Mahavakya means it makes the understanding complete. Yeah.
If you say Purushoham Purusha, it means one. Purushoham Purusha. It means the one who obtains in the body-mind sense complex, seemingly enclosed and is indeed the limitless Purusha, filling up everything. Purusha being limitless is not bound by time and is therefore Shashvata. Divya means something of an exalted nature that is not of this world, Alaukika. It is unlike anything we know. When we have no example to explain something extraordinary, we use the word Divya. Adideva means the one who was there before the beginning of all the Devas, the God of gods, their very source. And he is Aja, the one who is unborn, not subject to birth at all. He is the cause of everything, Vibhu, all pervasive, the one from whom everything has come and who sustains everything in the sense that his mandate is followed by everybody. People who say all this about Krishna are those who know. In every generation there will be a few. Arjuna says that what he had said in the previous verse about Krishna is not only his personal observation, but that of the sages who really knew the subject matter and whose opinion you cannot dismiss. Also he says all the rishis of Devaloka, including Devarshi, Narada, say the same thing. Other rishis like Asita, Devala and Vyasa also say this is what you are. They may all say so, but suppose the person himself says he is not Bhagavan, not here. Therefore Arjuna says, even you yourself have told me that you are Ishvara, Swayam Evacha Bravishi Me. And Arjuna goes on to say, Sarvame Tadritam Manye Yanmam Vadasi Keshava Nahite Bhagavan Vyaktim Vidurdeva Nadanavaha. Keshava, O Lord Keshava, Sarvam Etat, all this, Yatmam Vadasi, which you have told me, Tat Ritam Manye, I consider true, He Bhagavan, indeed, O Lord, Na Devaha, neither the celestials, Na Danavaha, nor the Rakshasas, Te Vyaktiv, your manifestation, Viduhu, no. All this which you have told me, Keshava Krishna, I consider true. Indeed, neither the celestials nor the Rakshasas know your manifestation. They do not know what you are, O Lord.
So this is a style. Basically, what Bhagavan has told, Arjuna as a student is reiterating, he is recapitulating, saying that he is confirming his understanding, reconfirming his understanding to his group. So this is what normally even in Kathopanishad, even Nachiketa's question is considered by Bhagavan, by Dharmaraja, the Acharya, as he keeps on saying, what you say is true, what you say is true, what you say is true. In the sense, the student himself knows most of the things. The Guru only just has to inform. That is what will happen. As the understanding gets clarified, that is what will happen. That is what now we are seeing, that Arjuna himself says so much, all these things he knows, which even the celestials and the Rakshasas will not know. That is how he is telling that. Yeah.
All the descriptions given by these rishis I consider to be true. What you have been saying to me in the earlier chapters and what others have said I consider to be a Rita, absolutely true. Even though both these words Rita and Satya mean truth, there is some difference between them, especially when they are used together. When a fact is described by words and there is no difference between what the words mean and what the fact is, that is Satya or Rita. If the two words Satya and Rita are used together, either it is repetition or they have different meanings. In that case, Satya is the truthful expression of something as you see it. What you express outside is as you see it inside. It is Yatartha Bhashana and it is called Satya. But suppose you do not see correctly. Sometimes what you think is the truth turns out to be false because of your lack of knowledge. What you think as true is really false, though your expression of it is true to what you know. That is Satya. But if what you see is accepted by the rishis and is in keeping with the Shastra, that is Rita. If what you see is Rita, it is a truth that can never be negated. So Rita is more powerful than Satya. Here the two words are not used together and Arjuna uses only the word Rita. Therefore, when Arjuna says that he considers what Krishna has to be Rita, he is saying that there can be no doubt about these words at all and that they are absolutely true.
It confirms Arjuna's knowledge, the clarity in his understanding. He doesn't talk about Rita, Satya, he talks about Rita, something more clear knowledge. Yeah.
In the next line he says, O Bhagavan, neither the celestials, devas, nor the rakshasas, danavas know of your person, Vyakti. You are the cause of everything, but they do not see you at all. Everybody sees the effect, the creation, but nobody sees the cause thereof. Arjuna continues and in the process reveals the knowledge he has gathered so far.
Rita is something absolutely true.
Rita is ascertained knowledge. If you want to really have an English meaning, well ascertained knowledge is called, knowledge is Satyam, well ascertained knowledge is called Ritam. There is no doubt about it. Very complete knowledge. So, Ritam, that's what he means here by saying Ritam. In many places it comes, Ritam, Satyam and all that. Ritam is well ascertained knowledge. There is no iota of doubt and all that. Yeah.
Ritam is not Ritagum. Ritam is not Ritagum, right? Ritagum is different.
Ritagum also it comes. Ritagum is a Chandasam, like how in poetry they use, no? There is poetic language is Ritagum. Ritam, actually it is Ritam only. Yeah. Ritagum Satyam, basically it comes, Chandasam it follows a certain rhyme. Ritagum Satyam and all, many places it comes. Yeah.
Swayamevatmanatmanam Vetatvam Purushottama Bhuta Bhavana Bhutesha Devadeva Jagatpate. Purushottama, O the most exalted being, Bhuta Bhavana, the creator of all beings, Bhutesha, the ruler of all beings, Devadeva, the lord of the gods, Jagatpate, the lord of creation, Tvam Swayameva Veta, you know, you yourself know, Atmana, with your own mind, Atmanam, yourself, you yourself, know yourself with your own mind, Purushottama, Krishna, the creator of all beings, the ruler of all beings, the lord of all gods, the lord of the gods, the lord of creation.
Yeah, we can read the next verse also, and just the word meaning, and then we'll stop. Yeah.
Bhaktur Mahasya Sheshena Divya Hyatma Vibhutayaha Yavir Vibhuti Dirlokan Nimam Swam Vyapya Tishtasi Divya
Bhaktum Arhasi Aseshena Divya He means emphasis. Atma Vibhutayaha. Yabihi Vibhuti Bihi. Bihi means just an ending, case ending. Vibhutihi Lokan Imams tu, very important. Imams Tvam Vyapya Tishtati. Imams Tvam Vyapya Tishtati. Yeah.
Divyaha, extraordinary high, extraordinary. He indeed, Atma Vibhutayaha, the glories of yourself, Yabihi, Vibhuti Bihi, these glories by which, Iman, Lokan, these worlds, Vyapya, pervading, Tvam, Tishtasi, you remain, Asheshena, Vaktum Arhasi, you are capable of telling in full. This He, HI is, we are used to writing high, so I read it as high.
He is indeed very important word. Tu, he, and all very important word in Shastra. It gives lot of emphasis. Tu means it gives totally what follows after tu is a totally different meaning. He means emphasis. Yeah.
You indeed are capable of telling in full the extraordinary glories of yourself, the glories by which you remain pervading these worlds.
Yeah. So you will be asking about the glories, and so in the 11th chapter, Bhagavan will show his Vishwarupam and all that. So those things will come. You see, lot of, in the sense, now we are sort of consolidating the whole understanding. So if you really go back and see up to the 9th chapter, both the Ishvara, the Tattvadartha and Tvampadartha have been consolidated, and Arjuna himself says that I really understand all these things. So from now on he will only be asking, and Bhagavan also will be telling only about the sadhana part of it, the qualification, how to remain with this understanding, how to, in spite of all his, the war is going on, he is going to play the war. As far as we are concerned, we have our own war of the world. So whatever we are doing, in spite of all that, how to acquire the equanimity, the qualifications, which we have been generally talking about as sadhana, karma yoga and all that, but how, in the relation to this understanding, how to make it. In the sense, Bhagavan will tell, all these are yourself only, all these qualifications, the adhikaritvam is what you are born with, you have lost it in between because of your various pursuits. Now you have to drop those pursuits, automatically you will get back to your real nature, which is equanimous. What you want to be is what you are already. So you have to get back there by dropping off. Only, as he said, you have to only drop off whatever you have acquired which is not necessary for this understanding. So that is, dropping is easy, no? Acquiring is difficult. So we have to only drop. That's what he is going to say.
Om Shanti 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 Shri Guru Pyo Namaha.